Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Saturday, June 17th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please get the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card we are starting our day off with today is the Ace of Wands in its reversal. This is a very good card for us to be starting our day with today. This is talking a lot about putting a lot of your creativity and communication energy into action today. So taking a lot of that inspiration, taking a lot of that passion and applying it in the tangible space as you proceed forward today. So this is getting a lot of stuff done today, but specifically in the realms of communication, creativity, anything that you're truly passionate about. If you're someone who writes, this could be a lot of writing today, as well as this card is frequently associated with that when I pull for this reading. The next card that we are starting our day off with today is, may I please have the next card in our 5-card spread? We have here the Page of Swords in its upright. So we love to see this energy today because what we're really identifying that's coming through today is a lot of activation that's happening. There's a lot of creativity being channeled today, a lot of work in this field of moving and your passions, your creativity, anything you're trying to communicate forward, and feeling a lot of bravery and excitement as it relates to this, getting that energy back. And we like to see this so much, particularly as it relates to the masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, specifically because one of the things that we've noticed as it relates to the masculine energy is there has been some of this back and forth as it relates to how to push forward. This is some of that clarification of the blockage that we identified in the masculine energy over the last few days. This is really kind of committing oneself to a path as you push forward from this point. The middle card for today's spread is, if it wants to come out. Oh, we love this as well. We have here our 3 of Wands. So this is a day of planning. This is a day of not just putting a lot of practical application into your immediate plans, into your immediate environment, but also setting the course as it relates to going forward. We also really like to see this because if you will recall, with the cards of the day that we've been receiving over the last few days, one of the huge hurdles that we identified as it relates to the path going forward was some of this blockage as it relates to those short-term plans and those short-term goals. There's a lot of activity that we're seeing today in taking the initiative to be able to take action on things immediately, putting things into practice today, but also setting your sights on where you want these paths and these directions that you're taking today to drive you forward. This is a lot of immediate application that's not only going to benefit you today in the moment, but also is going to set your sights on what the next few months or weeks look like for yourself at this moment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. The next card we have coming through in our 5-card spread is, we have here the 3 of Swords. So this is a bit of that blockage that we may have been identifying over the last few days coming through right now, because what we're really identifying is there is this moment that you are taking initiative today. You are taking a lot of direct action. You are setting your sights on those plans, the things you want to move forward towards as it relates to your short-term path going forward and your long-term path. But we're also seeing that there is some feelings of heartbreak that you are effectively working through right now. There are some situations and circumstances that are creating some of the blockage in the heart space that need to be dealt with and worked through. For some of you right now, this is finding some way to overcome any of the pain that you've been experiencing in your own heart space right now with a lot of this directed action. For others right now, this is moving away from any situations of heartbreak, allowing this action to help move you through, even as you are struggling with something that is not necessarily coming through in the way that you would ideally desire at this point. This could also speak a lot about, I will point out today, facing one's own heartbreak, putting a lot of care and attention into those points of difficulty, into those points of hurdles that you're trying to overcome. But what we like to see about this is you're not letting yourself get caught in this moment, but you're really using some of this personal feeling that you're having right now to help guide your path as it relates to going forward. The final card for today's spread, in terms before we start getting clarification on these cards right now, is This is that blockage with the heart space with our Eight of Swords. So this is some of that boundary or that blockage that we're currently working on. And we saw this card yesterday in our daily collective read. This is what needs to be overcome today, because what we're really identifying is there is this moment that, again, it is not the fact that you aren't in the space where you are trying to heal from something. You are feeling some of that grief. You are feeling some of that anxiety today, and you are recognizing how it creates a space of self-limitation. This is that moment of really having an orientation on the circumstances and situations that you feel are creating some hurdle that cannot be overcome. But what we like about this is it is the observation of that hurdle right now, of that difficulty, of that challenge that you're working to break through on right now as it relates to your immediate course of action as you proceed forward from this point. Let's start to get some clarification on the cards that we're seeing today. Clarification coming through right now between our Ace of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Page of Swords. So again, today being a day of a lot of activity, taking a lot of steps, being very proactive, potentially and specifically in the realms of creativity, moving forward with communication, moving forward with passion, having that confidence as you do so going forward. May I please have one card to clarify? Whoop! Clarification coming right now with our Seven of Pentacles, and we like to see this card in association with these other two, because what we're really identifying is it's not just the fact that you are taking action right now. It's not just the fact that you're putting this work in today, but what we really are identifying here is this is a moment that not just are you setting a lot of immediate action into the space today, but this is all about planning. These cards are all speaking about a lot of observation in terms of what that future is going to look like today. And what we're really identifying is you're putting a lot of care and attention into those spaces and places that you feel require this growth. You are seeing this potential. You are seeing these opportunities here. This is that point of activation and really recognizing where you want to put your time and energy as you proceed forward from this point. And we're seeing here, and this makes a lot of sense with that Hierophant card that we received, that this is a moment that you are feeling that point of confidence as you do so, because your perspective has become clear on what it is that you're truly trying to grow for yourself as you continue forward from this point. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Page of Swords in combination with our Three of Wands. So a day of taking a lot of action for yourself at this moment, but also with a perspective and with optics on the long-term plans, the long-term goals, building and taking activity to help clear up any of those hurdles that we saw just a few days ago that you felt were limiting your own perspective in terms of where you were proceeding from this point going forward. Can I please get one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with our High Priestess in its reversal. So this is going to feel a little bit different for feminine and masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. And this makes a lot of sense for the feminine, considering we have the Three of Swords on the table. Because what we're really seeing right now, and we did recognize this just a few days ago, that feminine had to employ some kind of higher based logical approach as they were trying to overcome any of the hurdles or adversities that they're currently experiencing in their own personal life at this moment. But what we're really recognizing here is for feminine energy, this is a moment that is feeling like it's bringing you back into your heart space, that your emotions are kind of taking the wheel to a certain extent. And this could feel like somewhat of a blockage because something about that circumstance and situation, something about that heartbreak that you're currently experiencing, you're putting a lot of observation into the fact that something around that makes it hard for you to be able to proceed forward from a logic-based approach. For feminine energy, this could be feeling like some of the blockage that you're working through right now, but that we see that the solution to this for the feminine right now is really to set about and taking actions to pave that path going forward, but with some anxieties, with some fears that need to be overcome as it relates to being able to do so in a way that feels like it is being guided by your higher intuition or your higher insight at this moment. While for masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you yourself are taking a lot of action. You are moving with a lot of purpose. You are putting this plan and this path ahead of yourself at this time. And again, this is going to hit a bit different depending on where you fall on the masculine spectrum right now. For some of the masculine collective right now, this could be feeling like you are not in contact or you are disassociated from a feminine energy that is in this high priestess energy. This could be you trying to work towards this energy right now to overcome any of these hurdles or blockages that you're feeling. For the other half of the masculine collective, one of the reasons that you may be taking this action right now is because you are recognizing that there is a feminine that you are in union with that you feel is having a hard time taking these logic-based approaches as you try to overcome any feelings of difficulty or adversity or heartbreak that you're working through right now. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Page of Swords in combination with our Three of Swords. So for both masculine and feminine energy, apologies, I have got these reversed. Getting clarification right now between our Three of Wands in combination with our Three of Swords. So again, this is a moment that is feeling like there is a hurdle as it relates to the heart space right now for both masculine and feminine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For masculine and feminine energy right now, there is an acknowledgement of heartbreak. There is some feelings of doubt, of fear, of pain, grief that you are personally carrying right now. But what we really see that you're doing, which is so important about this, is you're not letting it cloud your own optics. You are operating from a moment right now where you're acknowledging some of the grief or the burdens that you're currently experiencing, but you are setting your path going forward as it relates to how to overcome any of these difficulties in the heart space that you're currently experiencing. May I please have one card to clarify? We've got three cards coming out to clarify right now. Okay, that makes a lot of sense considering we have the Three of Swords on the table. All right, so let's get some clarification on some of this heartbreak energy that we're seeing, shall we? All right, so what are we getting into right now as it relates to this? So, and this is going to hit a different, depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy. For both masculine and feminine energy right now, this is a moment of doing a lot of solitude and thinking. There is something here about coming into or feeling like you need to go into a point of solitude right now as it relates to being able to figure out your own path going forward. But there's something about this circumstance and situation that is going to feel a little bit different depending on whether you align to these energies. For feminine energy, what we're really recognizing is something about this heartbreak that you're currently experiencing or working through right now. It is requiring some moment of going inwards. It is requiring this self-solace and isolation right now. But what we really like about this, especially with this hermit in its upright, is the fact that there is insight that the feminine energy is trying to carry right now to help them through getting a sense of perspective, working back into this high priestess. This is the feminine energy working through a lot of the difficulties they're feeling, because something about these circumstances and situations that the feminine energy finds themselves in at this moment is creating a feeling of vulnerability for them at this time. This heartbreak is vulnerable. It's putting them in a space of feeling very vulnerable. And it is this delicate situation right now that for some of the feminine collective right now, this is working in unison right now with a masculine energy that you feel is standing in their integrity, is able to kind of work with you as you're going through any of these feelings of vulnerability or doubts or fears or heartbreak that you're currently experiencing. You are feeling like you have that supportive energy around you as you push forward from this point. And that is what's also giving you some clarity at this moment to set that path moving forward. For the other half of the feminine collective right now, this is a moment that you yourself might be going through more of an internal period of self-solitude, but getting a lot of insight in that point of solitude is what we're really seeing, because you are allowing yourself to go into solitude right now because you are feeling very vulnerable, encountering or healing from some deeper heartbreak that you are experiencing right now as you work to manifest towards yourself in this moment with a lot of orientation towards a masculine energy that has this capacity and degree of standing in integrity as you work through challenges at this time. While for the masculine collective, what we're really identifying here is this is a moment that is requiring you to have some point of coming into your integrity and really challenging and holding firm to what it is that you truly want to defend, what it is that you truly care about at this moment. And it is requiring some period of self-solitude. It is requiring some deep thinking right now because there are some circumstances and situations that you're currently experiencing that are bringing up this heartbreak. But what we really see with the masculine energy is this could be feeling much more isolating for the masculine, because we see here that there is something that is causing you to feel extremely vulnerable as it relates to some of the heartbreak that you're carrying right now, or some of the sadness or grief that you're holding, and it's requiring you to do some of this internal work so that you can really lay this path forward for yourself at this moment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Three of Swords in combination with the Eight of Swords. So this is some of that blockage and hurdle that needs to be experienced right now. This makes a lot of sense because we saw the King of Cups in its reversal yesterday in the daily collective read. That would explain why the masculine energy is coming into this point of having to stand in integrity. But for both masculine and feminine energy right now, we are seeing that there is this feeling of heartbreak that you are experiencing. And you are experiencing how that heartbreak in some way, shape, or form actually feels like it limits you. It holds you back. It is causing you to feel stuck in some circumstances and situations as you work through your own emotions attached to these circumstances and situations. For feminine, something about this heartbreak is getting you out of your own logical center. While we saw yesterday for masculine, this is what's causing some of this emotional overwhelm that we recognized yesterday in the daily collective read, that the masculine is now employing a lot of strength and integrity to try to push through at this moment. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with the Hanged Man, and it's in its reversal. So this is what we want to see as it relates to these circumstances and situations, because what we're really identifying here right now is there is this moment that you are going through any kind of adversity, any kind of heartbreak that you're seeing, but we're seeing that you're facing that full on today, acknowledging how there are some situations and circumstances that make you feel somewhat trapped or blocked by your own self-limiting beliefs as it relates to how you're feeling around them. But we see here with this Hangman in its reversal, there is this desire to find a way through, to alleviate this burden, to move out of anything that is causing pain into a place of healing. This is how there is this point right now of really kind of asking yourself, particularly when we see the Hangman in its reversal in this moment, are these situations and circumstances ones that are going to be able to have a point of easement as you go forward from this point? Or is the gift or the benefit of them equal in proportion to the pain that you are currently experiencing? Or are these situations and circumstances that you need to adjust or amend or alleviate because the pain of sitting within them is overcoming or overburdening the gift or the ability for you to be able to function going forward from this point? Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Seven of Pentacles in combination with our High Priestess, and this will feel a bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender but what you feel most aligned to. For feminine energy right now, there is this feeling right now of coming out of your own logical center, of trying to work very hard right now on taking logic-based approaches, following your intuition, trusting your ability to trust your intuition in this moment with a concentration on what it is that you're truly trying to grow moving forward. While for masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you yourself are putting a lot of concentration today on what it is that you're trying to grow, what it is that you're trying to build, but with an orientation towards the feminine energy, and you will fall on one of two sides of this, depending on where you are in this masculine collective. For some of the masculine collective right now, this is putting a lot of care and energy and effort into what you're trying to grow right now, feeling some point of disconnection from a feminine energy that you feel might be not able to move in this way today, that is not able to take as much of a logic-based approach, potentially doing some of the extra effort right now to help and assist this energy to gain the confidence that it needs in order to grow and thrive going forward. While for the other half of the masculine collective right now, this is you putting a lot of care and concentration in some places and spaces that you are about to move right now, that you're putting this care and attention in what you are trying to grow at this time, and potentially walking away or putting a lot of this concentration in yourself at this moment while you're feeling this point of disconnection from a feminine that's in its high priestess energy, either trying to manifest this to come back into its upright, or putting a lot of concentration in an energy that you want to move towards right now, but you feel in some way, shape, or fashion you not necessarily can. So that way you're putting this effort in yourself at this time. Can I please get one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now in our Two of Swords. So this is a moment right now, again, of putting a care and concentration in what it is that you're trying to move forward into at this time. And there is a moment that we are seeing right now that you are utilizing to follow your intuition, both for masculine and feminine energy at this moment. For masculine and feminine energy, and it will feel a bit different right now, what we're really recognizing is there is this point that you are going through in this moment where for masculine energy, there is a moment where you are holding in terms of how you want to proceed forward at this time. You are using your intuition to guide you. You are allowing your points of observation to help build some clarity in this moment. Again, bearing in mind that either for half of the masculine collective right now, this is a point that you are recognizing that there is a feminine that you are in union with right now that needs this degree of support as they go forward in terms of the choices that they're making from this point going forward. While for the other half of the masculine collective right now, this is a moment that you yourself are working right now on growing, on building right now, feeling some separateness or disconnection from that high priestess energy, working a lot in isolation right now as you're having to do this work, but also keeping your own availability and options open as it relates to your own intuition. Concentrating on your own self right now, allowing your moments of observation to help guide you in terms of what you are trying to grow, potentially around the feminine energy that's around you, trying to notice and trying to employ and trying to manifest those feminine energies that have that higher logic-based approach as you proceed forward from this time. While for the feminine energy right now, what we're really identifying is this is a moment that you yourself are trying to move back into taking a more logic-based approach, having some feelings of disruption right now as it relates to your own logic-based thinking, specifically because we see here with that Three of Swords on the table that there's something that you are overcoming as it relates to your own heart space right now, a lot of your own limiting beliefs. For feminine energy, this could be coming through right now as a lot of doubts in your own self and your own abilities as you proceed forward from this point. But what we like about this energy is feminine is not necessarily acting reactively from this. They are taking their time to really conserve their energy. They are taking their time to get back into their high priestess energy by taking this moment of pause, by taking this moment of observation, by allowing their insight and their intuition to guide them back into themselves at this moment, with a concentration on what you are trying to grow as you proceed forward from this point. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our High Priestess in its reversal in combination with a lot of cards that are here on the table. We have here the High Priestess in combination with the King of Swords, in combination with the Strength card in its reversal, and in combination with the Hermit energy. So what are we really seeing at this time? For feminine energy right now, this is a moment that, again, you are feeling some self-limiting beliefs. You are feeling some doubts rising to the surface, potentially based around some feelings of heartbreak that you're currently experiencing and some self-limiting beliefs that are on the table. But what we really see here is there is this moment that you are feeling vulnerable at this time. But the solution to this for the feminine energy is going into a point of solitude, allowing that sense of deeper thinking, allowing that sense of going inward to help guide you, even at this moment that your own limiting thoughts and feelings are rising to the surface. Either working right now to manifest for yourself in this moment masculine energy that is coming through from a point of strength, from a point of integrity, even as you yourself are overcoming some of these personal hurdles right now. While for the other half of the feminine collective, this is feminine energy working right now with a masculine energy that has this ability to hold their integrity even through any kind of heartbreak or obstacles that you're currently experiencing. And this is a moment that, again, you are feeling vulnerable, but you are still taking this time for yourself. Having these points of healthy solitude to really guide your path as you proceed forward from this moment. While for masculine energy right now, This is a moment of you really coming into your integrity and standing in your integrity at this moment. Specifically, again, this is that fact that the masculine energy, this is feeling more like there is a bit of a strength exercise at the play. We see that here with the strength card, because for the masculine energy, it is not the fact that you aren't feeling vulnerable, but you're really pulling your own efforts in coming through, in standing firm or standing strong around some situations or circumstances that are causing you to feel vulnerable at this moment. Taking some of this time, going inwards, allowing this to be a point of solitude and insight to help you overcome any of those feelings of a lack of strength, of a feeling of vulnerability. This is a lot of that self-control energy that we saw coming in over the last few days as it relates to the masculine energy, utilizing that sense of self-control even in the face of feeling vulnerable. Because what we're really identifying here for the masculine energy is there is this point and degree where you're recognizing that this point of really being able to stand firm in terms when you're feeling vulnerable, when you're feeling unsure, is actually bringing you into a deeper level of strength, is what we're truly recognizing at this moment. For half of the masculine collective, this is a moment that you are either working in unison right now with a feminine energy that you feel or recognize is having some of these self-limiting beliefs, some of these doubts, some of these fears rising to the surface, doing everything you can to support that energy to help them build their own clarity, even as you yourself are also feeling some of this vulnerability at this time. Well, for the other half of the masculine collective right now, this is you potentially feeling some of this vulnerability coming through, specifically due to the feminine energy that's around you at this moment. That there's something that's coming through right now around a feminine energy and some uncertainty around the intentionality of that energy that is making you have some doubts, have some fears, taking this time to go inward on yourself right now and this moment as you consider the vulnerable place that this energy has put you. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. Woo! Oh my goodness, it is the world in its reversal flopping out of the deck. This is coming into a space. This is coming back into balance. There's something here about a cycle coming to a point of working through something that is creating a feeling of disorder, right? For feminine and masculine, this is going to feel a little bit different, because for feminine right now, this is where we're seeing some of that chaos and being inspired from. For the feminine energy right now, you are going through some circumstances and situations that are requiring you to feel like you are kind of limited or blocked or uncertain on how to proceed past these self-limiting beliefs, specifically because of some of the heartbreak and the doubt and the fear that you're feeling around them at this moment. This is that moment that feminine is questioning themselves and their own intuition and their own power at this time, and it is causing them to feel very vulnerable. For a lot of the feminine energy, this is requiring a lot of solitude as you work through some of these feelings that you're feeling, because there is a feeling of putting a lot of observation in terms of what is creating balance in your life, what is allowing you to be in your flow state, versus any energy you feel is helping or not allowing you to be in that space, to find that level for yourself at this time. There's a lot of observation that's occurring right now around the feminine to overcome some of these hurdles. Again, for some of the feminine energy, this is going to be feeling like there's supportive masculine energy that's around you right now that is helping you even as you go through some of these blockages. For the other half of the feminine collective right now, this is you potentially trying to manifest for yourself in this moment a masculine energy that is able to stand in this power, to support you in this degree, even as you are experiencing some of these difficulties and some of these hurdles in your own life at this time. While for the masculine energy right now, what we're really identifying is there is a moment that you yourself are also feeling some of this ungrounded energy as it relates to some feelings of disorder, trying to come into a flow state, trying to create some more order in your own life at this moment, trying to overcome anything that is creating some of this disorder around you and yourself at this moment. And a lot of this stems from some circumstances and situations that create some difficulty for you, that create some sense of heartbreak, that are creating some self-limiting beliefs. It is channeling the masculine's feelings of vulnerability at this time. But what we really see for masculine right now is this is more of a personal journey in the fact of you having to really try to find your own power, even at a moment of feeling vulnerable. It is requiring some of this solitude for yourself in this moment as you experience some of these feelings of anxiety or doubt or fear coming up. But we really see that for the masculine, this is really trying to come into your own confidence at this moment. Again, either to support and assist a feminine energy who you recognize is going through some of these doubts and fears as you proceed forward from this point. While for the other half of the masculine energy at this moment, this is a moment that you yourself are feeling somewhat triggered. You're feeling somewhat vulnerable, potentially because of a feminine energy that you are having your own doubts or fears or concerns around in terms of their own plan, in terms of working with you going forward at this time. And this is what's creating some of that sense of disorder. For both masculine and feminine energy, this is a moment of really trying to come back into balance, not wanting to feel some of this disordered energy, but also a point of recognition, we will point out, on what the source is. I want to stress that. We do see here that both for masculine and feminine, there's an identification on where the source of some of the disruption is coming from. It's now a question on how to address it. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our King of Swords in combination with our Hermit, in combination with our Strength card in its reversal, in combination with our Hangman in its reversal. So for masculine and feminine energy, this will feel a bit different right now. For feminine energy right now, this is a moment, again, we see the fact with the Three of Swords on the table and the Eight of Swords, there is a capacity and degree of wanting to move away from any circumstances or situations that have become too difficult for you at this time. There is this weighing right now in terms of the places and spaces that are causing grief. And this is that moment of asking and recognizing if there is going to be some relief in sight. Is it possible to have some relief in sight that's going to create a point of easement for you as it relates to the circumstances and situations? This is going to require some adjustment, we see, especially with the World card in its reversal on the table, because what we're really identifying here is that there's some situation or capacity where the difficulty to endure it or go through it is overriding the gift that is coming into play at this time. For some of you, this is either based on something that you might have been feeling could have been a short-lived difficulty that you were hoping for a point of easement on, while for others right now, this is really weighing the benefit and value of some circumstances and situations that are feeling like they're causing some feelings of vulnerability for you at this moment. For feminine energy, this is a lot of solitude and orientation on solitude at this time as you proceed forward from this point. Again, either working in collaboration with a supportive masculine energy as you proceed to do so. For the other half of the feminine collective right now, this is putting a lot of effort right now in making a point of easement for yourself. This is that same easement that we saw just a few days ago with that 10 of Wands in its reversal. But this is that moment that you're taking this time, you're taking these points of solitude, you're allowing yourself to feel the vulnerability around some circumstances and situations, either working in collaboration with that supportive energy or asking yourself, is the energy around you creating a space or level of degree of support that's going to make things easier as you proceed forward from this time? For some of you, this is manifesting this in this moment. For some of this is looking towards the masculine energy around you at this time and trying to get this point of easement to allow you this point of clarity as you proceed forward from this point. While for masculine energy right now, this is more of a solo journey. This is really a moment right now of experiencing or feeling any degree of difficulty or adversity in yourself at this moment. But you're taking a lot of work. You're being very stoic here, masculines, is what we're seeing. There's a lot of stoicism coming into play here for the masculine energy, is what we're really seeing, because what we're really identifying is the fact that there's something here about this being more of an inward journey for the masculine energy as you overcome any feelings of vulnerability at this time, employing a lot of self-control in this moment, trying to stand firm in your own confidence as you work to alleviate situations or circumstances that have grown to become difficult or making you feel too vulnerable. This is trying to find a point of easement in them or potentially moving away from them entirely. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with the Ace of Cups in its reversal. This is a moment for both masculine and feminine energy that self-care is key. There's a lot of orientation right now. We're seeing that here with a lot of work on the table about paying attention to where you're pouring your care, your attention, your energy right now. Potentially wondering if you're pouring too much of it into the wrong spaces or places. This is a reorientation point and a reminder of care of the self at this time is key. There's something here that is creating or delivering a bit of an exhaustion point as it relates to the masculine and feminine energy. This is that point in association with the World card in its reversal that requires a period of recalibration. There is this need for some care or a degree of care to come back into some circumstances and situation for both masculine and feminine energy. For feminine energy right now, this is dealing with a lot of the emotional difficulties that we've been recognizing in the cards over the last few days as it relates to your own emotional center. We've seen it with the arrival of the Queen of Cups on multiple occasions over the last few days that something around these circumstances and situations have been creating a point that are very emotionally difficult for the feminine energy. There's a point that they're feeling extremely vulnerable at this time. There's a lot of work to go inwards at this moment. Again, either working right now in support with the support of a masculine that's helping them through any feelings of overwhelm that they're currently experiencing, or for the other half of the feminine collective right now, this is with a lot of orientation towards the masculine energy that's around you at this time, really asking if that masculine energy is showing that level and degree of care and support for you at this moment from an emotional degree. While for the masculine collective right now, this is a moment that we're really seeing that this is a point of you having to kind of stand in your own power, come into your own confidence, even through some circumstances and scenarios that you feel are triggering or causing any of these doubts and fears for yourself at this time. Going inwards, trying to learn these lessons, trying to figure out the point of easement that is going to allow for that care of the self to come back into play. For both feminine and masculine right now, what we're really identifying is trying to come into that point of easement. For some of you right now, this is going to be, as we see, making a lot of immediate changes, taking action right now to make things easier as you proceed forward. So there isn't so much heartbreak, or so there isn't so much exhaustion attached to whatever you're employed in about at this moment. While for the other half of the collective right now, this is potentially moving away from something that you feel is requiring an overabundance of care and emotional energy that is putting you in too much of a vulnerable place as you proceed forward from this time. For both masculine and feminine energy right now, what we're really identifying is that self-care is key. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Two of Swords in combination with our World card in its reversal. So for both masculine and feminine energy at this time, this is that point of holding and trying to decide the path going forward, feeling some points of disruption, feeling some points of confusion, but really utilizing that energy right now, allowing yourself a point of sitting, giving yourself, not moving reactively is what we're really seeing, which is what we really like. Not coming from a reactive point, but using a lot and employing a lot of observation, intuition, to help guide you through anything that you feel is causing some points of disruption for yourself at this moment. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with Judgment, and this makes a lot of sense, bearing in mind that we see that Ace of Wands here with that Knight of Swords energy. This is a time of making some decisions. The reason that you are holding right now, the reason that you are allowing your logic to really guide you, the reason that you're coming back into trying to employ those efforts of observation. For feminine, this is coming back into trusting oneself as you proceed forward from this point. While for masculine, what we're really identifying here is a moment of you having to overcome your own feelings of vulnerability and find confidence at this moment, is this point that you are working to right now, to be able to make the decisions that are going to guide your path as you proceed forward from this point. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now with the World in its reversal in combination with our Ace of Cups in its reversal. So again, feeling this moment of doubt, of fear, of confusion, wanting to overcome any feelings of disorder that you're currently experiencing at this moment, but with a lot of orientation towards care of the self. really looking and assessing or the circumstances and situations that you feel are causing too much emotional or spiritual overwhelm at this time. Feeling some point of exhaustion here, but wanting to do a lot of work today to try to amend any of these feelings of dysregulation that you're currently experiencing. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with the Magician, and we like to see it because what we're really seeing, and this is what we really appreciate right now, is for both masculine and feminine energy right now, this isn't a moment that you're allowing yourself to get caught in this feeling of disarray. It's not a moment that you're allowing yourself to get caught in this moment of emotional overwhelm. Instead, you are taking this experience, you are observing from it, you are learning from it, and you are utilizing the tools at hand, the tools at your disposal to overcome any of these adversities and obstacles that you are currently experiencing as it relates to your own emotional center, as it relates to the things that are blocking you right now. This is really trying to come into a point of easement. This is trying to make something good from what's feeling like there are some issues around something. This is what we really appreciate about the Magician card and why it's so beautiful in combination with these cards, because what we're really seeing here with the Magician coming into play here is that the Magician is really alchemizing. They're alchemizing the bad. They're alchemizing the difficulties. They're alchemizing the hurdles. You're alchemizing the blockages. You're taking all of those things and you're not letting it effectively stop you in this moment. You are looking at them and saying, what can I do at this moment? What can I do to create a point of remediation? What can I do to fix or amend or adjust this situation to come back into a state of upright, to come back into a state of balance, to come back into a state of self-care? This is that point of activation that we wanted to see, both with the Magician card and the Judgment card here. Allowing this point not to hold you in a point of anxiety or grief or fear, but really channeling that into a productive opportunity, into what it is that you're truly trying to create for yourself at this moment. The final card for today's spread, clarification between, and these are two significantly powerful cards. The Judgment card in combination with the Magician. So again, going through what we're observing here is a point. It's recognizing the hurdle. It's recognizing the blockage. It's recognizing the heartbreak. It's recognizing the boundary that's been hit that needs to be overcome. It's looking a lot at what needs to be adjusted, what either needs to be moved away from, or what needs to be adjusted so that it doesn't cause so much difficulty, so much confusion, so much doubt, so much fear as you move forward from this point. But what we're really seeing is, again, utilizing your own efforts in observation to guide your path forward out of that state of dysregulation, making the decisions right now and alchemizing that energy to move you forward in the most productive way possible at this moment. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming here right now with our Page of Wands in its reversal. So what we're really seeing, and this is making a lot of sense because we have been seeing some of these communication blockages coming through, and we have been seeing as well that there is something here about feeling some anxiety as it relates to communication. What we're really identifying here right now is there is that moment where there are choices that are being made. There are steps that are being taken. There are pathways that are being carved at this moment. But some of it and a lot of it has to do with overcoming any of the communication hurdles that you're currently experiencing. For some of you right now, this is feeling like that is that point of pause where you may be taking a lot of activity for yourself in this moment. But as it relates to the energy around you, it's really a point of really asking if the energy around you is also aligned to what you are trying to do at this time. This is really that moment of making that point of determination and looking at the energy around you and asking, are you also aligned to where I want to go right now? Or are you just creating more of these hurdles? Or are you just creating more of these blockages? This is that work that we're seeing is coming through right now. And for some of you, this is still requiring some work right here as it relates to how you want to articulate and communicate what you are trying to build and grow at this time. As we keep seeing, communication right now is key. So trying to overcome any of these blockages is going to be some of the challenge here right now. Being able to really express what it is that you want going forward in a way that can be received and understood by those around you. Bottom of the deck for today's reading is the Two of Wands in its reversal. What did I just say about the issues around communication? This is what we're really seeing. There is something that is coming through here around feeling some challenges as it relates to communication, as it relates to how to communicate and how to articulate what it is that you're truly trying to achieve at this moment. This could be feeling for some of you that there's blockages in not getting that kind of communication back at this time, while for others, this could be expressing itself in a difficulty in articulating, truly finding a way to articulate what it is that you are trying to communicate at this time as it relates to your own decisions and the plan going forward. This is why we see a lot of that hermit energy on the table. And it's not surprising to see, because especially with this Three of Swords in combination with the hermit, there is something here about this expression. There is something here about these doubts and these fears right now that are requiring this point of isolation. They're requiring this point of going inwards right now so that you can fully articulate what it is that you truly want to articulate as you proceed forward from this point. That is that point of clarity, but it is very triggering. For masculine, it's because there's something about this that robs you of your own confidence, while for feminine, there's a lot of emotionality at stake with this that you feel sometimes gets you out of your own logic-based thinking. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video with the option of a recording sent to you afterwards. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Also, please keep in mind that booking a reading on my site is a two-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have a reading with me. Also, most importantly, please, 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 please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a personal reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never tell you that I have a very important message that only I can provide. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So please do it there. I want to thank you guys so much for having this daily collective read with me today, and we will do this again tomorrow.